What if your brain isn't broken? What if there is nothing fundamentally wrong with you, but your mind has simply been rehearsing the exact same negative loops for way too long? Here is a hard truth that very few people want to admit. Your brain is a master learning machine. It will inevitably get better and faster at whatever you force it to repeat every single day. Let's be honest with ourselves. You know this feeling all too well. You wake up in the morning feeling physically drained, and your hand automatically reaches over for your phone. And before your feet even touch the bedroom floor, your mind already belongs to the rest of the world. You unlock your screen just to check the time or clear one quick notification. But within seconds, you get sucked into a mindless 25-minute doom-scrolling loop. You accidentally read a toxic comment, a stressful news headline, and you let that negative energy completely vaporize your morning peace. You work hard, you finish a genuinely difficult task, yet you rob yourself of the right to feel proud because your eyes instantly jump to the next item on your endless to-do list. When you finally get a few moments of free time, instead of letting your brain rest and recover, you go right back to hunting for new digital stimulation on your screen. And when night falls, you lay in bed while your brain automatically replays your most embarrassing memories and mistakes from years ago. You try to comfort yourself by saying, as soon as my life settles down, as soon as I make more money, then I'll finally be happy. But the reality is, even on days when things go relatively smoothly, your mind still actively scans the room, looking for something new to worry about. And the scariest part is, the more often you repeat these daily reactions, the more normal and automatic they start to feel. Your life might not be empty or terrible at all. Your attention has simply been trained way too well to overlook what is good. Every single day, your mind is being heavily conditioned by what you repeat. You are actively training how you start your morning. You are training what you pay attention to first. You are training how you react to failure, how you talk to yourself, and how you close out a long day. New habits won't magically make every problem in your life disappear overnight, but they can completely shift the default paths your mind loves to travel, because your brain will always follow the trails you walk most often. You don't need to fake happiness or force yourself to be relentlessly positive. You just need to stop practicing unhappiness all day long. So here are 10 practical daily habits to rewire your attention, behavior, and emotions, making happiness feel like a natural response instead of a lucky accident. Habit number 1. Don't donate the first 20 minutes of your day. Most of us are willingly handing over the most valuable minutes of our day to a glowing rectangle. Right after waking up, before you even have a chance to notice how your body feels, what your mind actually needs, or what truly matters today, you flood your brain with news work, emails, public opinions, and the curated flashy lives of strangers. You force your nervous system to kick off the day in a state of reactive defense instead of proactive control. Think about it. You wake up at 7 a.m. You only mean to check the time, but suddenly your thumb is opening work emails, absorbing stressful headlines, and comparing your current reality to a distant acquaintance's luxury vacation in Europe. Your workday hasn't even started yet, but your brain is already drowning in feelings of inadequacy, urgency, and exhaustion. Your morning is like the steering wheel of a car. If you hand that wheel over to a complete stranger the second you open your eyes, don't be surprised when your car crashes into the ditch or spends the whole day driving in the wrong direction. The very first voice you hear every morning should never belong to the internet. Change the rules starting tomorrow morning. Keep the first 20 minutes after waking up completely screen-free. Use that quiet window to drink a full glass of water. Pull open the curtains and let sunlight hit your eyes. Do some light stretching. Take a few deep breaths. Or write down the single most important thing you want to accomplish today. You don't need a complex aesthetic morning routine. You just need to protect your mind from outside invasion. Once you stop starting your day with noise, you finally get to decide what your attention learns to notice. Habit number 2. Train your brain to collect good evidence. Biologically, the human brain has a built-in survival mechanism called the negativity bias. It acts like Velcro for bad experiences, but like Teflon for good ones. Your mind automatically archives thick folders of evidence to support toxic beliefs like, nobody cares about me, I never make any real progress, or my life is completely stuck. When a minor problem pops up, your brain immediately files it away as proof. Yet genuine moments of warmth and success are routinely dismissed and forgotten. If just one person forgets to reply to your text, you instantly jump to the conclusion, people always lose interest and abandon me. But that exact same mind conveniently forgets that just last week, an old friend called you out of nowhere to check in, a coworker bought you coffee, or a family member remembered a small detail you mentioned months ago. Your brain operates just like a courtroom attorney. If you only allow it to gather evidence against you, it will always build a devastating case that leaves you feeling insecure and hopeless. But the truth is, whatever you consciously record and repeat becomes much easier to believe. Every night before you go to sleep, do something ridiculously simple. Write down 3 pieces of good evidence from your day. It could be a conversation that went better than expected, a moment someone showed you basic kindness, an action proving you are making progress, or just a situation where you stayed calmer than you used to. You don't need to write fluffy, forced gratitude affirmations. Just record specific, undeniable facts. Noticing good evidence literally changes what your eyes see in the world. And the next habit will change how you act when your mood tries to sabotage you. Habit number 3. Move your body before your mind starts negotiating. How many times have you told yourself, as soon as I feel motivated, I'll go for a walk? When I have more energy, I'll hit the gym. Or, when I'm less stressed, I'll finally clean up my apartment. We are trapped in a dangerous illusion. We believe that motivation and a good mood must arrive first, and only then can action follow. But behavioral science proves the exact opposite is true. Most of the time, your mood will never change until after physical action has already begun. Motivation isn't the fuel you need to start. It is the natural reward that shows up after you begin moving. Remember those late afternoons when you get home from work and collapse onto the couch, feeling so drained you can barely lift a finger? If you can just force yourself to stand up, put on your shoes and walk outside for exactly 5 minutes, your body naturally warms up, your heart rate settles, and that heavy, suffocating mental fog starts to lift. Your mood is like a car with a dead battery sitting in the middle of the road. You can't just sit inside with your arms crossed, waiting for the engine to magically start itself. You have to step out and physically push the car down the street for a few yards before the engine can cough to life and keep driving. Action has the power to lead emotion rather than sitting around waiting for emotion to grant permission. Set a non-negotiable rule for yourself. Whenever I feel stuck, paralyzed, or sluggish, I will move my body for exactly 5 minutes. You can walk around your living room, do some simple stretching, roll your shoulders and neck, clear off your messy desk, or step out onto the balcony for fresh air. The goal here isn't to burn calories or do a high-intensity workout. The only goal is to shatter physical stagnation and break the nervous system's freeze response. Movement cuts through the negative mental loop. But to build lasting positive neural pathways, you also need to learn how to linger in your good moments. Habit number 4. Stay with good moments for exactly 10 seconds. We have a brutal habit of punishing ourselves. When something frustrating or annoying happens, we gladly spend hours, sometimes even weeks, chewing on it in our heads. But when something genuinely good happens, a delicious cup of morning coffee, a warm ray of sunshine, a sincere compliment from a colleague finishing a tough assignment, or hearing a song you love, we barely give it a fraction of a second before rushing right past it. When a coworker praises you and says, "You handled that presentation brilliantly today," what is your default reflex? You immediately wave it off. "Oh, it was nothing anyone could have done it. And then you dive straight into your next email, refusing to let the joy or pride of that compliment actually register in your nervous system. A good moment is like a photograph being taken on an old camera. If you jerk the lens away too fast, the picture will always turn out blurry and ruined. A good moment simply cannot nourish your inner life if you stubbornly refuse to taste it. Starting today, whenever a small positive experience occurs, hit the pause button for exactly 10 seconds. Relax your shoulders, take a slow breath, and tell yourself silently, "This feels really good. I want to absorb this warmth. This experience matters to me." Don't overanalyze it. Don't rush to pull out your phone and post it on social media. Just stand there, sit there, and allow that simple joy to sink deep into your cells. Learning to feel and retain good moments is essential. But alongside that, you also need to strip away the power of toxic, repetitive rumination. Habit number 5. Replace rumination with the next useful move. When faced with a setback or a personal mistake, our minds love to ask self-destructive questions. Why am I such a failure? Why does bad luck always find me? What if everything falls apart tomorrow? Are people judging and despising me right now? Or how could I have said something so stupid? These questions are cleverly disguised. They make you feel like you are doing deep, meaningful problem solving. But in reality, they just trap you in a spinning vortex of rumination, leaving you feeling paralyzed, helpless, and deeply guilty. You say something slightly awkward in a team meeting, and that night you lay in bed torturing yourself by replaying that 5-second clip over and over again. But the truth is, not a single second of self-loathing will ever prepare you to perform better in your next meeting. Repetitive rumination is like running as fast as you can on a gym treadmill. You burn a massive amount of energy, you sweat, your heart races, but when you step off, you are standing in the exact same spot without having moved a single inch forward. Thinking longer does not mean thinking smarter or solving problems better. The next time you catch your mind spiraling in a loop of self-blame, hit the mental emergency brake and ask yourself one powerful redirecting question. What is the next useful move right now? The answer might be extremely practical. Send a direct, honest apology text. Outline a new plan to fix the mistake. Ask an experienced mentor for advice. Or simply close the laptop, get a deep night of sleep, and accept that today's events are officially over. The next useful move is your protective shield against being held hostage inside the prison of your own mind. The first 5 habits we just walked through are incredible tools for shifting your daily energy and state of mind. But these next 5 habits go much deeper. They directly reshape your identity, transforming the core values and self-worth you project to the world every single day. Habit number 6. Create before you allow yourself to compare. One of the most destructive habits for your motivation and self-esteem is starting your workday or a new project by looking at the shining achievements of other people. A writer sits down to work but spends the first hour reading essays by best-selling authors. Someone trying to get in shape scrolls through photos of flawless fitness model physiques. A content creator obsessively checks the views and production value of massive channels that have been operating for a decade. And what happens? They begin their own creative work from a deep hole of inferiority, feeling small, untalented, and hopelessly behind. You feel energized and ready to write out a page of new ideas. But right before you pick up your pen, you open social media. You see a peer who just launched a successful book getting thousands of praises, living what looks like a dream life. Exactly 10 minutes later, all your initial excitement and creative spark vanish into thin air. You suddenly feel like your own ideas are cheap and pointless. Comparing yourself before creating is like inviting a stadium full of harsh, critical judges into your gym right before you attempt your very first clumsy step. The voice of comparison and self-doubt is always loudest when you haven't produced any tangible evidence of your own yet. Build an ironclad rule for yourself. Output before input. Before you let your eyes consume the work opinions or lifestyles of anyone else on the internet, force yourself to create something of your own first. Write 100 words for your project. Do a focused 10-minute workout. Sketch a rough outline. Tackle your single most important work task. Put out a product or an idea, no matter how small, using your own hands and brain. Creating real value builds self-trust. And that self-trust becomes unbreakable when you master the art of keeping small promises to yourself. Habit number 7. Keep one micro-promise to yourself every single day. Why do we constantly fail when we try to change our lives? Because we love making massive, unrealistic promises to ourselves. Starting tomorrow, I'm working out for an hour every day. I am never scrolling social media or procrastinating again. I'm waking up at 5 a.m. every morning without fail. I'm going to read 50 books this year. And what happens when your initial motivation evaporates and you inevitably fail to maintain those gigantic goals? You don't just drop a routine. Much worse, you actively shatter the trust you have in your own word. When you repeatedly promise yourself, "I'll start tomorrow," but when tomorrow arrives, you cave in and procrastinate. Your brain registers a clear pattern. This person's words mean absolutely nothing. Over time, your mind stops believing any plan, resolution, or goal you set for yourself. You push yourself into a state of learned helplessness. Self-trust operates exactly like a bank account. Every small promise you make and execute flawlessly is a deposit into your trust account. Every massive promise you break and abandon is a major withdrawal that drains your balance. Unshakable confidence doesn't come from shouting loud motivational affirmations in the mirror. Real confidence begins to take root the exact moment your physical actions start aligning perfectly with the words coming out of your mouth. Today, pick a promise so ridiculously small that your brain would feel embarrassed to fail it, a promise that is almost impossible to break. Read exactly 2 pages of a book. Walk around inside your house for 5 minutes. Clear off your desk before you get into bed. Write down one single sentence for your project. Drink a glass of warm water right after waking up. Or charge your phone outside the bedroom. Keep that micro-promise consistently for 7 days straight before you even think about increasing the difficulty. When you prove to yourself that you are a reliable human being, the way you view your own self-worth will completely transform. And when you feel secure inside, reaching out to connect with the people around you will make your world feel warmer and much more expansive. Habit number 8, send one genuine message of connection on purpose. When it comes to relationships, we often get trapped in our own stubborn pride and passivity. We secretly think, if they really cared about me, they would have texted first. I don't want to bother them. They're probably busy. Or, we haven't spoken in so long, reaching out now would just feel awkward and weird. As a result, 2 old friends who genuinely miss each other and care deeply about one another both sit in silence, waiting for the other person to make the first move. And just like that, a meaningful relationship quietly freezes to death in the cold silence. You think about a good friend 3 separate times in 1 month. Yet all 3 times you hesitate and put your phone away simply because you put an imaginary pressure on yourself. If I reach out, I have to write a long, deep message and commit to an hour-long conversation for it to be meaningful. Human relationships operate just like a bridge connecting 2 riverbanks. A well-built bridge doesn't collapse overnight in a storm. It slowly decays because, season after season, year after year, nobody bothers to walk back and forth across it anymore. Deep, authentic connection rarely happens by accident, especially in a modern world designed around isolation and digital distraction. Every single day, or just a few times a week, intentionally, send out a super short, zero-pressure message. I saw this random thing today, and it immediately made me think of you. Wishing you a smooth, light, and easy week ahead. I was thinking about that advice you gave me a while ago, and I just wanted to say thank you. And always add a simple pressure relief clause. No need to reply to this at all, just wanted to send some warmth your way. Don't demand anything. Don't turn human care into a communication obligation. When you learn to actively build bridges, you realize you are never truly alone. And the next habit will remind you that not every thought that pops into your head deserves your loyalty. Habit number 9. Question and challenge. One automatic negative thought. The human brain is a world-class expert at jumping to catastrophic conclusions. They read my message and didn't reply instantly. They must be furious or disgusted with me. I failed at this one project, which proves I am completely incompetent. I had a rough morning, so this entire day is officially ruined. Everyone else my age has their life figured out except for me, or my heart is beating fast and I feel nervous, so a horrific disaster must be right around the corner. We have a dangerous tendency to blindly believe the very first thought that pops into our heads. But the reality is, that first thought is almost never the objective truth. It is simply the fastest, most dramatic story your brain's survival instincts and hidden fears can stitch together in a split second. Your boss sends a 4-word message. Can we talk tomorrow? Instantly, your mind produces a full-length horror movie. You start digging through everything you did over the past month, wondering if you're getting reprimanded or even mentally preparing yourself to be fired. And then tomorrow morning arrives, and your boss just wants your opinion on an exciting new project or wants to offer you a new opportunity. You tortured your own nervous system all night long over a baseless imaginary assumption. Automatic negative thoughts are exactly like those annoying intrusive pop-up ads that suddenly hijack your computer or phone screen. Just because a pop-up ad appears on your screen does not mean you are legally obligated to click on it. A thought can scream as loud as it wants inside your skull, but that never makes it a fact. When you notice a harsh, insecure thought attacking you, step back, observe it like a neutral bystander, and ask yourself 3 reality-checking questions. Right now, what is the single objective fact that I know is 100% true? What assumptions and wild stories am I adding to that fact? Is there another gentler, more logical explanation for what is happening? Our goal here isn't to force toxic positivity or deny reality. The goal is to stop treating your invisible fears and worst-case scenarios like absolute proven verdicts. Challenging your automatic stories gives you a sense of freedom and lightness throughout the day. And our final habit will give your mind permission to truly rest when night falls. Habit number 10. Close your mental tabs before you go to sleep. We have a brutal habit of punishing ourselves every single night. We try to fall asleep while keeping dozens of heavy doors wide open in our minds. You lay down in bed with endless mental tabs still running in the background. Unfinished tasks from today, emails you didn't reply to, frustration over a morning mistake, tomorrow's overwhelming to-do list. Upcoming difficult conversations and a constant fear that you're forgetting something important. Your physical body is lying still on the mattress, but your mind is still sitting at a desk in the office, typing furiously. You officially shut down your work computer and leave the office at 6 p.m. Yet at 11:30 at night, your brain is still frantically trying to solve complex work problems in a panic. Not a single practical task gets completed. No emails get sent at midnight. The only thing being drained is your own vitality, mental health, and emotional resilience. Your mind operates exactly like a web browser with 20 heavy tabs open all at once. Even if you aren't actively clicking on every single tab, leaving them running in the background continuously eats up all your RAM, drains your system resources, and leaves your machine overheating, sluggish, and exhausted. True rest and deep recovery can only begin the exact moment your brain truly believes it has received official permission to stop working. Build a simple 3-minute tab-closing ritual every night before you get into bed. Grab a notebook and write down 3 grounding lines. Here is what I completed and handled well today. Here is what is still unfinished, but can safely wait until tomorrow. And here is the single most important priority I will tackle tomorrow morning. When you finish writing, close the notebook and give yourself a firm verbal command. Today is officially closed. I have no obligation to solve tomorrow's problems at midnight tonight. Because rewiring your brain for happiness doesn't start with forcing your mind to manufacture positive thoughts. It begins when you consistently choose behavioral patterns that create less chaos inside your mind every day. Let's review our roadmap to a cleaner, lighter mind. Protect your first 20 minutes from screens and noise. Keep a daily evidence list of what is going well. Move your body before your mood tries to negotiate. Linger for 10 seconds to fully absorb good moments. Look for the next useful move instead of spinning in rumination. Create your own work before you let yourself compare. Keep one micro-promise daily to build self-trust. Intentionally reach out with messages of zero-pressure connection. Challenge and question your automatic catastrophic thoughts. And write things down to officially close your mental tabs before sleep. None of these habits are a magical spell that will make your life effortless and happy every second of the day. And they shouldn't be. True, resilient happiness never means you never feel sad, never feel anxious, never fail, or walk around with a forced fake smile 24/7. A strong, happy inner life is built from ordinary, quiet capabilities, the ability to notice and appreciate a small good thing happening right now. The ability to pull yourself out of a negative mental loop faster than you used to. The ability to trust your own word and actions implicitly. The ability to choose human connection over retreating into isolation. The ability to allow yourself to rest peacefully without a shred of guilt. And the ability to refuse to let a brief, difficult moment ruin and define your entire day. Imagine a morning in your near future. The outside world hasn't magically transformed into a flawless paradise. You still have the same job. You still have monthly bills to pay. Everyday challenges still exist. But the way you face them has completely evolved. You wake up and you are no longer a slave to your phone. You know how to own and protect your morning peace. You no longer blindly believe every self-doubting, catastrophic thought your brain throws at you. You feel proud as you keep small, quiet promises to yourself. You smile at ordinary beauty on your daily walk. And when night falls, you peacefully close out the day, drifting into deep sleep without guilt or anxiety. This transformation happens quietly, without loud announcements or applause. But the way you experience every single minute of your life steps into an entirely new chapter. Your brain will always become most comfortable with whatever you practice consistently. So starting today, practice returning to the life and the person you actually want to experience. You don't rewire your life in one dramatic, explosive moment. You rewire your life in those tiny, ordinary moments where your old toxic habits expect to win. Now, it is time to start your new path. Which habit are you going to practice this week? Drop a comment below with the keyword new path to mark your strong starting line. And if today's video helped you see your mental loops from a clearer, healthier perspective, hit that like button, share it with a friend who looks exhausted and overwhelmed, and make sure you subscribe to Tiny Truths. Because here we decode the simple, quiet, scientific truths to build a stronger, calmer, and happier inner life every single week. Thank you for listening, and I will see you in the next quiet moment.